right, 2004 is going to be here before you know it. In fact, before the end of the week. And you might have seen this article in the paper over the weekend about property values here in San Diego and the real estate market. Man, the experts seem to be split right down the middle on what's going to happen. So let's break the tie with our own expert, Dan Holbrook from Advantage. Dan, there's a wealth of information out there right now, but who do you believe in terms of what you think the market is going to do? It's gone up so high. Can we sustain it?
Well, it falls back to the whole supply and demand, and that's what drives prices. Whether it's the price of beef as a result of losing a lot of inventory to mad cow, or whether it's has to do with your home. In San Diego, there's a limited supply of real estate, a growing demand. It gets back to jobs. We're still seeing job growth. We're still seeing fewer and fewer homes being built. The big concern out there is what happens to interest rates.
Right.
And that's the big concern. But if you look at it simply based on supply and demand, and if interest rates were to stay within a range of 1%, then it's likely that we'll see appreciation, and perhaps significant appreciation. Report out by the University of San Diego, their MBA, their business degree department, came out with a study, and they analyzed real estate prices and what was going to happen on a month-to-month basis, forecasting for 2004. And they showed the average price of a home in San Diego going from $428,000 to $483,000.
Wow.
Big increase in numbers.
Well, yeah, and we've got some folks in San Diego, in fact, not uncommonly, paying as much as 70% of their take-home pay in order to be able to afford a home. How long can you sustain that?
Well, what we're seeing is many people are adjusting their whole mindset. It used to be the 30-year fixed-rate loan was the loan of choice. Well, now we don't have as many choices, or at the very least, we're beginning to manage our opportunities better. So we're going into loans like the interest-only home loan.
I just locked in on a 7-year interest-only loan at 5 3/8, I think.
Yeah. Those things, and what happens is not only the lower interest rate, but the big one is you're not paying $400, $500, $600 a month in principal, and that gives you greater buying power. So,
but then you're depending on appreciation in order to be able to make any money on your investment down the road.
Well, if you were to analyze what's happened to the market, that's where people have always made their money. Over the last 5 years, property values have doubled in San Diego. The median home price was $220 5 years ago. Then during that same 5-year period, the property value increased $200,000. You paid your loan down $20,000. So obviously, the name of the game is controlling the asset. And if you look at controlling the asset over the next year, if you were to buy a home January 1 and you assume that USD is right and data quick information systems are right, then the home that you bought at $428,000 is going to appreciate and grow $55,000 over the next year.
Far more than you could ever hope to pay down in the principal, especially if you're strapped.
And that's the median priced home in San Diego. The median income for take-home pay is less than that number in San Diego. So people are making more money simply in the ownership of real estate than they do on working on their job 40, 50, 60 hours a week.
Wow.
And one thing that's interesting in this report is they analyze it on a monthly basis, and they're projecting a spike in March. So that means, and I'm looking in different market areas, and they're saying if you were to buy a home in March, or if you were to sell your home in March or buy it prior to then, it could take you 6 months to get back to that level. So by understanding what might happen to this market, you can plan your purchase or sale decision. So you're saying
maybe if you're going to make a purchase, maybe do it before March, and if you're planning on selling, March maybe has the potential to be the month to make the biggest gain.
But for many people, they are a seller and a buyer, so you really need to plan this. You can't. It's like buying stocks. If you can go and try to buy at the absolute bottom of the market, it's not going to happen. You need to make good decisions, but you need to make decisions that are right for your life.
So overall, you're still bullish on the market, if we can borrow a term from the stock market then.
I think I'm very bullish on the market, and one thing that you might do, though, is educate yourself to your overall market. In this report, the East County for attached housing seemed to be one of the strongest markets because of the affordability. It's one of the last bastions, really, for affordability here in San Diego.
Attached housing, we're talking condos?
Condominiums, condominiums, townhomes. And because it's affordable, it's cheap. Well, affordable, it's you're looking at $283,000 now. So one thing people might do is educate themselves. They could log on to our website at advantage.com or call our office at 800-231-1333 and get a copy of the report.
Very good.
It's important to understand what your next move is. And a lot of people ought to be doing some planning for 2004 with real estate.
Very good. And you'll help them do that.
Absolutely.
Dan Holbrook, as always.